The Illinois House passing several resolutions condemning actions by the Trump administration, while the Illinois Attorney General responds to concerns of local taxing bodies using tax dollars to do public polling and promotion of tax increases. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop with you each and every weekday morning here for the Center Square. Get to thecentersquare.com where you can sign up for the latest in the headlines. Get those in your inbox. Again, just go to thecentersquare.com. The Illinois page, chock full of headlines for you to grab up, but also the national page where you can see headlines from what's going on over in Davos with President Donald Trump and Congress and plenty of other action in other states as well. So go get those headlines at thecentersquare.com. All right, stay tuned. We got to tackle action on the Illinois House floor yesterday. They didn't pass any bills, but they passed some resolutions, sparking debate, especially now here as we start the spring legislative session. So that's coming up here with Illinois in Focus Daily. Again, wake up with us each and every weekday morning here for the latest with the Center Square. As the state of Illinois grapples with the highest property taxes in the nation and the second highest gas taxes in the nation, and issues with outbound migration and ongoing conflicts with the federal government over migrant sanctuary policies, Illinois legislators are looking at House resolutions that condemn Trump administration actions, but not without pushback from Republicans. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop for the Center Square. Go to thecentersquare.com, sign up for the newsletters today to get the latest in your inbox, but you can have us here daily for the Center Square. All right, so let's get to it. Yesterday, the Illinois House in session for the second of 3 days. It looks like they're still scheduled to be in session this morning at 10, but then they go home for the weekend. The Senate was in last week, and this week you had the House come into session. Yesterday, they didn't really do much. We did air a statement of personal privilege from State Representative Brad Halbrook, which talked about the state possibly looking at more tax increases. Yesterday, Representative Halbrook opened up the session after the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation and roll call, point of personal privilege. You had Halbrook recognize Katie Abraham, the 20-year-old who on January 19th of 2025 was killed in a hit-and-run crash at the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana, and Halbrook saying that she needs to be recognized because this individual lost her life at the hands of somebody driving a vehicle who was in the country illegally. Here's Representative Halbrook yesterday on the House floor.
System that invites people in but refuses to vet them, guide them, or hold them accountable does not uplift the vulnerable, it abandons them. It fails citizens, it fails immigrants, and in Katie's case, it took her life. Today is not about anger, it's about remembrance. It's about honoring a young woman whose life was stolen.
So the Republicans obviously very critical of the Pritzker administration and Democrats approved policies for non-citizen migrant sanctuary status in the state of Illinois, and Republicans pointing to Katie Abraham as an example of how that policy hurts the public safety. You also had Katie Abraham being the namesake of Operation Midway Blitz, the federal government's efforts in Chicago to go after illegal immigrants and violent illegal immigrants, and we've seen a lot of the chaos on the streets there. But that chaos on the streets of Chicago and Broadview and elsewhere throughout the state, also the chaos on the streets from protesters going up against immigration officers who are trying to enforce federal immigration law, that was the focus of a House resolution that Chicago Democratic State Representative Jamie Andrade advanced yesterday.
In September of 2025, Severo Villegas Gonzalez was shot and killed by ICE in one of our very own communities, Franklin Park. Weeks later in Chicago, Marimar Martinez was shot by mass agents while on her way to church. The world witnessed this shocking violence this month when Renee Nicole Good was murdered by ICE agents in Minnesota. Days later, it happened again in Oregon. It's happened in Washington, D.C., in Phoenix, in Los Angeles, in Texas, and Maryland, and towns.
And he says towns that we don't even know and can point on the map. So Andrade's resolution was just one of several that were brought up yesterday. And you can actually track what the Illinois legislature does. If you go to ilga.gov, you'll be able to see the latest. So you look for legislative reports, and then you put in the date, and you can click all bills, and it'll show you all the bills and the activity of those bills from the date you selected. So I'm just selected yesterday's date, and you can see, measures filed with the clerk, measures appointed to committee, resolutions adopted. They had a couple of resolutions for memorials of two individuals, but then you could see here I've highlighted other House resolutions, right? So we've got one from Jamie Andrade, condemns ICE excessive force. State Representative Patrick Windhorst, he pushed against this House resolution. It's not a bill, it's a resolution, almost like a statement that the Illinois House is making. But Windhorst says that it seems to neglect the reality that federal immigration law needs to be enforced, and the state of Illinois is not helping enforce by having migrant sanctuary policies, essentially making cooperation between state and local law enforcement with federal immigration enforcement illegal. And Windhorst says that's not going to help public safety.
And because there's not that cooperation, is causing chaos in many places. We are a nation of laws. We need our laws enforced, and we need law enforcement officers to enforce them. I do not think we should be passing resolutions condemning law enforcement or condemning elected officials until we take a close look at what we're doing in the state of Illinois with our laws, making it difficult for the federal laws to be enforced.
So Windhorst saying that they should vote no on this resolution, but regardless, the resolution was adopted.
On this question, there are 69 ayes, 35 nays, 0 voting present, and this resolution, having received a constitutional majority, is hereby adopted.
So what does that mean? It's really, again, just a resolution concerning condemnation of ICE activity. If you click through, you can see the actual resolution's language on H.R. 622, condemns the acts of excessive and deadly force deployed by federal agents and immigration, customs enforcement, border patrol, Homeland Security, and others operating under the direction of President Donald Trump and the Department of Homeland Security, calls for fully independent investigation into all Department of Homeland Security involved shootings, killings, and deaths in custody, calls for the appointment of an independent counsel to prosecute agents, administrators, and political appointees found to have committed, directed, or covered up these acts of violence, calls for immediate resignation of Kristi Noem, calls for her immediate impeachment if she refuses to resign. Again, the resolution, sometimes they don't have a taxpayer cost, other times they could have a taxpayer cost, especially if there's a call for an investigation using public resources to look at these cases of violence that Democrats say was conducted by ICE agents. So that's a resolution that passed. You had another resolution that was brought up concerning health care subsidies and the fact that they have yet to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies in Congress. So the Illinois House passing a resolution to condemn those activities. State Representative Dan Ugasti said that everybody's going to be talking about affordability, but affordability in Illinois, because of Illinois policies, not because of federal policies, is causing a turmoil for the state's economy.
Of trying to figure out ways to get our people jobs, to drive down their tax bills, to give them affordable energies, maybe even to help on things such as insurance. We're here today doing resolutions pointing fingers at the federal government, playing politics, and trying to do gotchas on votes.
Again, this is just the beginning of spring session. We're going to have a lot of time between today and May 31st with lots of committee hearings tackling all kinds of issues. I know a lot of people out there are interested in the Rifle Act, which impacts gun ownership in the state of Illinois. That measure is still in the Rules Committee. Not sure if that's going to advance out, but something to keep an eye on. But obviously, you've also got the budget situation and the funding situation, the freezes of federal funding that's coming down the pipe. So a lot of different things happening and moving pieces. Obviously, we'll be watching that for you, and you can keep posted here with the Center Square. But here's just some of the vote outcomes on some of these measures that ultimately did pass.
On this question, there are 70 ayes, 34 nays, 0 voting present, and this resolution, having received a constitutional majority, is hereby adopted.
So again, you've got the healthcare subsidies resolution that was approved. You've got another one here condemning the freezing of funds to child care centers.
On this question, there are 7.
Looks like the device ran into a problem, so we'll just continue streaming on here as looks like that particular computer has restarted itself. So that will end this segment for Illinois in Focus Daily. But again, you can wake up with us each and every weekday morning as we break things down for what's happening in the state legislature and how exactly that's going to play out, the ongoing situation in Illinois. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. Have a great rest of your day. Going to cut it short. We've got some things happening in the background that here with the Center Square, you're going to want to stay up to date. All right, so be sure to follow along each and every weekday morning here with Illinois in Focus Daily, but also the Center Square. So go to thecentersquare.com and stay with us as we break things down for you in the land of Lincoln. It seems like a short show. That segment went not how I wanted it to go, as the playback computer just decided to go ahead and poop out. So get that figured out, and we'll be back at it, all right? We'll see you tomorrow. We'll wrap the week up strong with plenty more to tackle. All right, so get to thecentersquare.com, get the latest headlines in your inbox, and wake up with us here with the Center Square.